Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Code It Live. I'm your host, Sam Basu. I will spend like a minute to recap what I'm building. And for that, I'm going to take you to our blog site and try to bring up one piece of content here. And that's this. It's Sands of MAUI. So essentially, if you are somebody who is wanting to stay up on top of .NET MAUI, which is the evolution of Xamarin Forms and the next generation of .NET cross-platform development. If you want to kind of stay in tune, you may want to tune into this. This is an article that goes live every Monday. It's kind of like a newsletter where I try to recap everything that the community has done for the week that's relevant to .NET devs. So just highlights of 5 or 6 things that have happened that are relevant. So there's been a desire to make this into an app, and .NET MAUI app, so you don't have to subscribe. You can just come and have a notification on your mobile or device or tablet, and you get the news. So that's what I'm making, and it's not been without some challenges. So let's start where I left off. And I think I've done a little bit of code from last week because I was struggling to get something to work, but I think I got it now. But it's ready for building on more. So let's go into Sands of MAUI, which is the project repo. Chat room, feel free to ask me any questions, anything you have on your mind, or just chat. So let's open up VS Code, and I'm doing this on a Mac. You can obviously do this on Windows. You'll have a much better experience actually. I don't have much debugging, so you might see me kind of struggle through tooling a little bit, but hey, we'll be okay. It is kind of fun when you take away IntelliSense, you take away debugging, you're kind of left with writing code that you hope that you're writing it right and it works. So this is the app. This is what I got so far. So let's maybe dig in and see where things are. So at the crux of it, we want a couple of things to happen. One is it's going to be a simple app. So I need to have one screen where I show you the list of all the issues, right? And then I need you to, tap on one and be able to see this view. So first thing is to get a list of issues. Second is to go into the detail of each issue. So it's almost like a master detail page. And I am using Azure to kind of host some of this data. So let me actually take you in there. And I might keep it open just so I know what data I'm fetching, because I'm ready for the next thing. I think I've got the list of issues coming back right. So it's on Cosmos DB. I'm going to go to that resource and Data Explorer. And so I got a database, I got a container. This is my list of issues. So if I go into the items collection, you see like I have 2 items, right? These are just like sample pieces here. One says Sands of MAUI issue 1, and the second one says Sands of MAUI issue 2. So this was the list that I was trying to pull back. Binary Chef, greetings. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see if my chat highlighting is working at all. Maybe not. It's Thursday. But Sharifa 2021. Hello, do you have the new session recorded for shipping Angular app with .NET MAUI Web View with the JS girl? I attended the session when the setup wasn't successful. Okay, well, I think we got that. Yes. So let's see if I can highlight. Yeah, I think I can highlight. So there you go. Sharifa 2021. Everything that we do goes up on YouTube. And yes, this was, I think, with Alyssa Nicole, my good friend. We did a JS Girl in a .NET World episode where so I did 2 things with her. One was just me speaking to her one time where we, got Angular, we got React, working on desktop through .NET MAUI. So that should definitely be up on YouTube. But I think the one that you're referring to was last week where we started. And so this is a demonstration of how professional I am, because like I spent like 2 hours with Alyssa where we just tried to get .NET MAUI to work and it didn't work, but we figured it out. We got her bits installed. So I think she had a conflict yesterday, and so we might be streaming again tomorrow. I think she has it for tomorrow afternoon, but I think she just wants to get MAUI up and running. But no, it absolutely works, Sharifa. So professionalism is overrated. Yeah, you're in the hands of like professional developers here. We just copy and paste code. But no, it is working. So Sharifa, check out the episode of JS Girl that was one before from last week, where she had me show my screen and show Angular. So it definitely works. She just needs to get all the bits installed and get up and running. If you're going to turn professional on me, I'm unfollowing. Ha. Good one. Yeah, the struggle is real. No, that's not the ones I want to highlight. Yeah, my highlighting tool is kind of working, but not exactly all the time. Okay. So Sharifa 2021, I hope I answered your question. Check them out. It's on YouTube under the Telerik channel. That's where all of our recordings go. Okay, so this is my data, and I wanted to just get this data working in a list view. And channel name, it's YouTube. Go to YouTube and then search for Telerik. That's the channel name, because all of our videos go in there, and they have nothing to do with like Telerik or our controls. It's just where we keep all of our stuff. Okay, so it was a little challenging last week for me to just get this basic thing going, and I will show you what I did to fix it. So up front, I have, thank you, and you're welcome, Sharifa. I have a model here, and I'm trying to do Mvvm design pattern because that works nicely with XAML and C#. So my idea is to present the list of pages in a list view, and then when you click on it, we take you to a detail page, and the detail page will likely end up having Blazor web view. So essentially I have all of this stuff nicely formatted in HTML anyway, so I don't want to kind of redo this effort. So I'm thinking I will just stick in that whole HTML and let the web view render that and call it a day. Oh, Catherine is here. Hello, Catherine. She's my good friend out of my team. Thank you for posting the link to our YouTube channel. Okay, so this is my, just bare bones model. I'm trying to pull back a list of issues, and I have a little Cosmos service here, which has, the key and the URI that points to my Azure service, and then I got a database name, container name. This is the fetch call where we instantiate a couple of things, and this is code that I kind of copied from the Cosmos DB docs essentially. So it may not be the most polished code, but just to get the basics working. So we do a query definition. This is SQL, so we are looking up a document based on SQL type syntax. It's not exactly SQL Server, it is a document DB after all. But we are iterating through that, and we are filling up this list of issues, right? And this list of issues happens to be an observable collection. This is where I was doing things a little wrong, because the timing of things matters a little bit. If that's just a list, then I can, I have a view model here which essentially calls into that fetch issue list and returns that list, and it's still a task, so everything is async and await, right? So it's like handing somebody an empty envelope to say eventually you'll have data in it, it's just not there yet. So here's the view, and what I have in this view is just one simple control, just the list view, and this is the Telerik list view, which is actually coming from our UI suite, which is free for you to play around with right now. That's the MAUI suite that I'm using, because I need a couple of things in there. I need the hamburger menu. I need a list view that has all the features that I want. So I'm using our stuff, which again you don't have to, but take a look. Some of the UI is really nice, and you should not be reinventing the wheel. So that's my list view, and it's bound to this list here. Well, actually the bounding is item source has been set in code, and here's my label that's bound to the name property. So what I was doing wrong last week was I wasn't waiting enough. So when I do an await, essentially the execution, like it comes in, this is the constructor. So I can't be doing async and await on the constructor, but I call in fetch and bind data, and this one instantiates the call, makes that call out to Cosmos DB, and then when I do an await, it essentially pauses execution at that line of code, and it goes back to whichever was the calling method, and it, the program proceeds from there on. But the item source on the list view is being set after we actually have some data back. So I will eventually use like maybe like a busy indicator to show that I'm fetching data, and then I'm setting it right here. So if I go ahead and run this, I think I got this part to work. Let's see if it remembers. So let's do a Mac Catalyst build. Okay, Samu Mars is asking a good question here, and I honestly I struggled a little bit. I was wondering which way I should do this. So fetch and bind data is void, but shouldn't it be a task? Yes and no. By the way, this is, you see the list view now, it is pulling back those two things. So it probably blinked for a second, because while it was making the cloud call, it was blank, and that's where I'll throw up a busy indicator. But you can see it's working. So this one here, I thought about this, Samamars, whether it should be returning a task or not, but I think I'm okay here, because here's the reason why. When I have an async void here, I'm not returning the actual task, but the thing that depends on the task is the one that is waiting on, right? So I got a fetch data here, and if you look at the fetch data, which is this one here, this one is returning a task of the type, the whole collection of observable collection. So it has the iNotify, property change built in. So when the name and the date changes in the internal collection, it's going to trigger the UI to update, which is what we want, because essentially when we do the binding, it may or may not have the actual data in it. So I thought about this, because if I make this a task, then essentially I have to do an await here, which I don't want to do on the constructor, right? So again, maybe there are other ways of doing this. This is what I chose because I am doing an await here. So like when we are setting the data context here on the list view, I am doing an await, and I'm waiting on it to fill up before I can trigger the UI event that paints it. So that's my logic. Let me know your thoughts, but I am doing a task here, and this in turn will depend on my Cosmos service and the task here, because this also returns a task, right? So yes, I'm doing a void just because I'm calling it from the constructor, and I don't want it to wait in there. But let me know your thoughts. So this is working, right? You saw the two records come back, and I think I got the next thing working as well. But I got some work to do here. So on the XAML, you can see that I have an item tapped event, right? So when you click or when you select an item, and we can do multiple selections, but here it doesn't make sense. So I'm calling into an issue picked method, and what that method is doing right now is just nothing, but I want to wire this up. So this is my issue picked, and it's an async here because I'm doing an await, and I'm doing navigation to another page, because when we pulled up the main page, if I look at appxaml.cs, main page, which is the starting page of my app, that's actually a part of the navigation stack already, because this is what Xamarin Forms and .NET MAUI has built in. So that's the navigation I'm using. So I'm coming to this issue list view, but then when you where is my not detail, hold on, I want to go back to the list view XAML. So I want you to take you to the detailed view, and eventually I want to pass along in the constructor the selected item, so that view knows exactly which one it is that I have to show. So let's see if that was working. Not sure why my notes is open here, so I quit that. Okay, Mac Catalyst, build again. Okay, you see that initially it's blank because it just doesn't have the data, and then it gets the data and triggers the event so we can repaint the UI. So I will do like an indicator that I'm doing something busy. So if I tap on this, notice how it goes to that second page, which is empty, it doesn't have anything in it. But I do have the navigation thing to come back. And when you come back, it is still kind of remembering that I tapped on the first item, which I'm not sure if I want to keep that. Maybe I want to, you know, get rid of the selection, which I can. I mean, it's a collection of selected items, so I can just empty it out so you come back to a fresh screen. But I'm just trying to get the basics to work first, and then we'll do all the fancy things. A couple of fancy things I really do want to do is if I go maybe look at the docs here. Controls, get started. Controls. What I want to do is, let's see, cells, gestures, layouts. One of them had, oh, I can do a pull to refresh. That would be nice to do. And I also need to cache the data because I cannot just keep asking my cloud service when I've already called it once. Selection. This is the single selections or multiple selections. You can do a tap or a hold, none, single, multiple. One of them had like a favoriting thing. I do want to do that. So let's see where that might be. Layouts? No, layouts is different. Layouts is like how we lay it out. I might actually use this a little bit more because, like, if I am pulling this up on a mobile device, then it should just show me a list. But if I have more real estate, like on an iPad or on desktop, then I may want to actually pre-select one item and show you the detailed view, like right next to it, right? So there are some things I need to work on. Styling, maybe item styles. No, these are just, you know, coloring things. Item selector style. No. Anyways, like I will get to it. I do want a favoriting thing, which for some reason I cannot find right now, but it's there. So I will find it. And actually this reminds me, I should get some other pieces of text to show up as well. So let's do a little bit of text cell. Okay, so within the list view, I can have a couple of things. I can do a list view text cell, or I can do a template. And I chose a template because I wanted to show some extra things in here. So that's my template. So data template, cell, view, stack layout has the label. Now I should be able to show the published date as well. I think that's coming back. So let's take a look. The published date is just a date, which is a string essentially. So I should be able to do that. Oh, question here. Good question. Sam Mars is asking, in Maui, is it, and by the way, Sam Mars, Microsoft and some of the folks who work on the .NET MAUI team, I know them well. They actually, like from a marketing and a branding standpoint, they actually always want us to say .NET MAUI instead of just MAUI. So quick, and in all caps, like you're shouting. But the question is, can you create nested user controls? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, nothing's stopping you. This is essentially what, you know, XAML, like if you look at XAML and C#, this is pretty much the same as what we did with XAML or with Xamarin Forms. Now it does reach desktop, and you know, you have multiple ways of doing things. You can write your code entirely in C#, or you can bring in Blazor because you have a nice web view. So yes, the answer is yes. Okay. So this published date, let's throw that in as well, and see how it's showing. I can just copy that, and I will format things a little better once I do get it. So this was called published date, I think. No, it's just called published. Ooh, this will be interesting. This is published versus what do I have in the data stores? It is called published. Okay, so no, we should be fine. So we should just say published. There's no date. Okay, and I'll format it to, you know, whatever I want. But let's see what data we are getting back. So let's run this again. And I'm doing a Mac Catalyst build because I think it's a little quicker. When it spins up the desktop version, I can also do an iOS or an Android build. It just takes a little bit longer to deploy because it has to remember the simulator and so on. Let's see what I broke if I just have one more data piece. Ooh, that's funny. It gave me a date under here, which is weird, because that's a data template. Why is it doing that? Let's do, what is orientations? Yeah, I don't have no IntelliSense. This is not fun. Is it? All right, binding is text and publish, and let's see how I'm binding this. So this is my issue list class. So in my query, I have this observable collection of issues. So I'm literally just going through that and hoping that it can do this JSON to object serialization or deserialization and fill up this. Okay. Hold on, let's look up some syntax. Let's go to .NET MAUI docs. Get started. XAML overview. I'm trying to see if I did the stack layout correct. Set up page content, yes. Page navigation, XAML, stack layout. I think it's vertical by default, isn't it? All right. I don't see a quick example that shows me exactly what I'm looking at. I think it's like stack layout is, orientation is vertical, but for some reason it's not giving me the date for both tasks, and maybe it's got to do with like how this serialization is working, the list of issues. It may not be able to deserialize it exactly as is. Because the name and the publish, well, that's an internal method versus this is just called name and published. It should be getting it right, but for some reason it's not. So Sands of MAUI issue 1 is published on 3/1/2021, and then issue 2 is 3/8/2021. So I started back in March of last year. So for some reason it doesn't like my template. I don't think I need that. Binding published, that sounds right. So why for some reason is it not giving me the first date? Let's try it again. Give me a second. Okay. I didn't want to cough into your ears if you're listening. Okay. Yeah, see, either the date is being hidden or, well, that's the template, it got that, and it knows that's the template. Sam Mars, are you using Azure Cosmos DB free tier? Yes, yeah. I am not paying yet. It is completely free, but it's a good problem when you get over the point where you have to pay, because that means your app is successful and you have lots of users. Okay, I will fight this at another time because I'm not sure why it's not showing me the date for the second or for the first one. It's weird. There's nothing wrong in my template. All right, let's just assume this is something I will fight later. I'll keep it an empty. But the thing I want is, let's go back to this. So when I select the first issue, it has an ID. And I want to pull up, when you go to the detail page, I want to pull up the corresponding issue that has the same ID, right? So the issue will essentially have an HTML body, which is just hello world for now. I will eventually put the HTML in there. Binary Chef is adding, you can do a lot with the free tier. Yes, that is very true, very true. The freemium is quite generous. Yeah, so you can do quite a bit. So let's see if I can carry that ID. Well, like firstly, I need to do a little bit of excuse me, Cosmos lookup as well, because like I'm not set up to look up issues. So let's do that, and then I will use the ID to pull back the thing that I need. So in here, this is just a thing to look up my issue list, right? Which is this. Let's look up Sam Mars. I'm going to give Azure a second chance. Yes, you should. Well, like I'm not biased towards any cloud provider. They're all very good. You know, give AWS a shot as well. You know, do what works for you and your app. But Azure is an enormous infrastructure. With lots and lots of services. So, and I think like I'm actually, you know, not really needing Azure Cosmos DB here, but I was thinking like every document here will be, you know, quite a chunk of HTML, and it is a document DB, so that's why I'm using it. So I'm pretty sure I'm not using like the full features of, you know, what it can do with indexing and all that stuff. I just want to look things up. Like this is going to be one document with an ID for me. And actually, let's look this up. So Azure Cosmos DB docs, because they have examples of how you do this. And again, I'm doing SQL, but you can do MongoDB or Cassandra or Gremlin, which I know nothing about. So I'm sticking with what is simplest here. Tutorials, create and manage data, build a console app, sure. Okay, you can do this in .NET and Java or Node.js and .NET. Okay, so they're starting from the scratch here. Create a Cosmos DB account, I got that. What else? Set up your Visual Studio project, I got that. Connect to Azure DB, I got that. So it needs the endpoint URI and needs the primary key. I got that, which you will get from the Azure service. Then what are they doing? Create a database. I got that. Create a container. Yes, I got that too. Okay, add items to your container. Well, I already have items. So, so they're doing like a code first approach, like, excuse me, like they're creating like a family with parents and children and address, and they're trying to create the object first, and then they're going to stick it in to the container. Anderson family, okay, parents, children, got it. But I'm not trying to create new data, I'm just trying to read. Okay, query. Here's where I query. Feed iterator, family. This is exactly where I copied the code from, so you can see the similarities here. So I don't need to copy like iterate through a feed. I have an exact ID and I just want to get that out. Replace. Oh, maybe this is what I need, because this is going to be like a pinpointed thing. Replace family async. So what are they doing here? Copy and paste. Now we'll update an item, but to update they need to do a read first, right? Yeah, so that's what I need. So here's an item response of the type family. And this container read items async. Oh, so that's different from, what did I do? Read, oh, that's the get items query iterator. That iterates through a collection, and I'm guessing this read items just does one. But what, oh, I need to mention a partition key. What is my partition key? Is it not, like, I thought that was my partition, or maybe issues is my partition. Okay, let's start, and we'll see where this fails. Right, models. Where are my models? Models right here. So I have an issue list. So now let's just say issue. Let's see this. Chat room is saying binary chef. Oh, nice. Binary chef is actually giving you the details of exactly what you get. You get $200 for 30 days, then 12 months of common use services, and then a few of those remain free forever with the free tier. You can't run production apps on it, but it's more than enough to experiment with. Oh, I can't run production apps with it? So I'm actually hoping to put this app in the app stores, so that would be production. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out where I have to pay. Well, the thing is, I may not have to pay because, like, again, so Binary Chef and me, I think we are Microsoft MVPs, so we get a good amount of credit, which is, you know, free money. Where something that you would pay with your credit card, we get like, I think $150 per month of credit, which is, you know, not bad. So yeah, the freemium tier does get you quite a bit. Okay, so we need an issue list, right? But the first thing I'm going to copy is this namespace, which is so nice because now it's, you know, public file scope namespace. So let's go to issues.cs. We're going to paste that. It's not an issue list, it's just issue. I need to give it, I hope the ID thing will be good. And you know what? I think I may need to spill out the private and the actual property field because it may be getting confused with the JSON serialization, but we will see. So here I want to call this HTML body because in here I have this. So I may need to have a property that is private that exactly matches that JSON field because I think it's getting confused, but let's try. So let's just hope that my issue is going to work, right? So I have my issue. Okay, Binary Chef, thanks for explaining. I'm going to read. You can run production apps on it, but the quota might not support the usage of a production. Okay. I don't know. I will see. I'll have to read up. I don't think the license restricts you from running production apps on the free tier. Yeah, that's what I thought. And like I said, like beyond the free tier, we have a little bit of credit. So I'll deal with it once I am ready. Like my app is not ready. Once I'm ready to push to production, I will read the license and I will make sure I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. Okay. So let's go to our... where is my Cosmos service? Right here. Okay, I don't need to change the endpoint and the primary key, but I do need some of these other things. This database ID, Sands of MAUI issue list, is essentially this. So I do need a separate database and a separate container. Okay. So let's do this. Let's call this issue list database ID, okay? And let's call this issue list container ID. Now let's make sure I am populating that all the way down. In here, endpoint URL remains the same, database ID. Let's change that because this is the fetch issue list. And then we are newing up the Cosmos client. We also need to give it the database ID here. And is there any other place? No. And issue list container ID is used right here. So let's change that. And that should be it, because this is the query and it's iterating over that. So that should be fine. Okay, let's make sure I run this and I have not broken anything. Binary Chef, so are you saying you are going to test the license in production? Yes, because that's what professionals do. Test in production. No, I will read up. I don't know, honestly, what licensing is. Because I have actually not used Azure Cosmos DB in a production app ever. I've just, played around, tinkered with it. Okay, so we are still good. We are still good. We are pulling back the issue list. Let's now do the next thing. All right. So I need to copy these two lines. Now, instead of the issue list, we're going to just call it the issue database ID and the issue container ID. Okay, and those two things are named Sands of MAUI issues. Okay, Sands of MAUI issues, and inside of that is each item is just called issues. Okay, so that's the container. I don't exactly know which one, or it's partitioned on the container, I think, but I'm not entirely sure on how Azure Cosmos DB stores stuff. Okay, so I have these two now. So this is query items async. Okay, so I need another one here. And I'm not going to return a list of issues here. I will return just one issue. Let's try with a string first. I mean, let's just get it to work. Okay, so fetch issue. All right. Now Cosmos client. Now we are not going to use the issue list. We're just going to use the issue database ID, the issue database ID, and the issue container ID. Okay, so now I'm pointing to the right thing. All right, I don't need to return. This is on the Cosmos service, right? So let's do another private, and I'm just going to say an issue is what we are returning. List of issues, let's just say selected or issue in consideration. Bad name. All right, is a new issue. Okay, and from this fetch, we are going to return a task, but it's going to be just of the type issue, just one, not a list. All right, fetch issue. All right, and container is there. Return hold on, this is a bad name. Selected issue maybe sounds better, and I'm going to return that instead of the list of issues, right? Okay, what did I do wrong? Yeah, nothing, right? I should be still good. Now instead of a query items async, I just need one. So we're going to say private async task query. How about I just say item async. Okay, so in here I still need this. And this one, instead of items, we can just call the query item, right? Right, and then, okay, let's look up documentation. I thought I could just do a SQL-like thing. I thought they had a thing where, yeah, so this is what I was trying to do. I was hoping to do, where I would do where ID equals blah, blah, blah. But I'm not pulling back a list. Just want one item. So for one item, okay, I'm going to copy this because I have no idea what they're doing here. And we'll try to figure it out for our needs. So I'm not doing a select query then, okay. Okay, item response. What is an item response for them? Item response, is that anywhere defined? Is it a var? Where is item response? What are they getting for item response? I don't know. I don't know. Where is item response? I'm not feeling like, because if I make that an issue, that's just a name, that doesn't matter. This dot container, well, the container will be set here, so now it will point to the issue, right? And then we want to say read items async issue. Now what is this? Read items async. See, I can't even read the signature of this thing very clearly because I have no IntelliSense. What is, how are they partitioning this? I don't understand this. Can I do the thing that I know how to do maybe? Let's do this. Because I need to figure out the syntax of how they're looking it up. So hold on. So this is where we're going to do where. What is the syntax now? Where that. Okay. C dot ID equals 1. That's what I want. So query definition can take that thing. Now instead of that, I can just say issue. Now it is only going to return 1. So I understand I'm iterating over something that will only give me 1, but I just want to see it work first. And then I'll figure out exactly what they need to make that query work. That's my query definition. That's fine. While query selector has more results, we are going to feed, find the issue, await, read next. Okay, for each maybe issue in this current result set, we could say this thing, the selected issue, we can just set it to that. Equals issue. Now this is where we might lose some of the deserialization because it's trying to map to objects and what's coming down from Azure, but this should compile, I hope. All right, well, for it to fire, I need to do some more things on it. All right, so let's see what we did here. In my issue list, oh, this is the view model. I had a collection and I had this. Okay, so I need another view model which will eventually pull back that. All right. Issue view model. Yes. And I'm going to copy some here. Issue view model, paste it in here. It's not the issue list view model. It can have the, well, this is also a little wasteful that I'm newing up the cloud service twice. Thank you for the follow. Cloud service, just gonna say issue, it can be the same name. Selected issue is new issue. See how nice this namespace declaration is? It just saves like one level of indentation. Okay, public task. Yes, I do need a task, but I'm just going to return one issue. Right? Issue view model. Yes, it can have fetch data, cloud service. Let's new it up. And we are going to say the selected issue is fetch issue list. No, that's not what we want to call it. What did we say? Fetch issue. Just fetch issue. So go back into the view model. We are just going to do a fetch issue, and then we're going to return the selected issue. Okay, how about that? So now the view model is super simple, just does one lookup, and I'm iterating over something that I should not. I understand that, which I'll fix. I just want to see this working. So let's go into our detail view here. I can copy some code from my other view. Newing up a view model and then doing the fetch and bind. Okay. I can just put like a label and bind it to it. I can do that, right? All right, so issue detail view here. So we're going to do and issue view model. Why is it not centering like that? Let's just say my view model. And here we are going to initialize or new up my view model. And I mean, I'm happy to look into like dependency injection, so I'm not, you know, doing this newing thing every time, but that is also like a price to pay of how much you want to initialize at the beginning. But let's get the basics to work, and then we'll deal with things as they come. Right, so let's copy some from here. Detail view will have a fetch and bind data, which we're going to call right from here. Right, async is fine. Await my view model fetch data. That should be fine, I think. Where's my view model? Issue view model is doing fetch data. Oh, Sam Basu, I don't know if you know about Firebase real-time database. Yes, I have heard. I have not used it a whole lot. Store and sync data in real time remains available when your app goes offline. When I'm reading documentation, I think it's not possible with Cosmos DB. I don't know. I don't know if Cosmos DB does real time like the way Firebase does. I have seen lots of people use Firebase, so I'm not judgmental. I don't need real time data here, but you know, I don't know if Cosmos does it. You know, Binary Chef, if you are around and if you have used Cosmos DB, let me know, or, you know, feel free to respond, but I don't know. I don't know if Cosmos DB does that. Right, so where are we? Got my fetch data. So here in my issue detail, I can do a fetch data, and I don't need this stuff right now. Let's just say string test. Brocodev, good morning, Sam. Good morning to you. Good morning, Brocodev. Hello, my friend. Yeah, I think you are mountain time, so you're like an hour or two behind me. I'm East Coast time, so it's getting close to lunchtime actually for me. But no, I had a couple of meetings this morning, so I started streaming just a little later than usual. And for folks who might be just joining me, I am writing up an app, and it's struggles every step of the way sometimes, but it's an app for this newsletter. It's called Sands of MAUI, which essentially is .NET MAUI news that comes out. Oh, Brocodev, I didn't know you were Eastern too. Western PA. Aha, this is interesting. Where are you? Because I didn't know. I thought somehow you were Colorado, because I am Northwest PA. I'm about 2 hours north of Pittsburgh, right up by the lake, actually. So the lake is Lake Erie, but I live in a town called Erie. Well, just a little outside of Erie. It's called the Mistake on the Lake, because apparently we don't have much going for us, but it's okay to love Erie. We actually have shirts that say it's okay to love Erie. But what I'm building is a .NET MAUI app that gives you news about .NET MAUI, and it's a cross-platform app, works on iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac, and I'm bringing in some Telerik UI. Brocodev is 1 hour south of Pittsburgh. Oh, I see. Good. Good. Same state. It's a big state, Pennsylvania. For me, which is I'm in the left-hand corner on the top. For me to go down to Philly, I'll have to go down south to Pittsburgh and then cut across. That's like a 7-8 hour drive, because Philly is in the opposite corner of the state, south and southeast corner of the state. So it is a big state. Brocodev, I used to co-organize the Pittsburgh .NET user group. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm in Pittsburgh quite a bit, sometimes for work, sometimes for pleasure. It's our nearest, big city. Interesting. Small world. Okay, let's see how I'm failing here. So I have my model, and what I want to do on my await is just do that. Okay, so the detail view is going to make a call out on initialize. It's going to find this, and it's going to do that. Let's see how badly we fail if we do a label. We can give it text, and let's try to bind to test. I think that should be enough. No, I need to close it. Okay. Oh geez, no. What are you doing, Visual Studio? Let me just do my thing. I know you cannot give me IntelliSense, but don't get in my way. Okay, so just a label with the binding text, and let's do, I do need to give it a name maybe. All right, because this is not a collection of things. My label. Now I do need to come down here to my label dot, what is it? Is it data or binding context equals this? Okay, so hopefully that's gonna make it bind, and we're gonna make a call out and just fetch that, right? Let's try. Let's see if this will at all build and what we have broken. Okay. Thanks for the explicit error. Actually, that's good. That is good. Okay. How about that? All right. Just thinking. Building at least. Where are my, let's see. I do have some things where when it's trying to fight me, I do have things where it's freaking out. Okay, I will freak out if it doesn't work. How about that? Okay, here we go. When I do a tap, we're going to go to the other page and we're going to fire off our new Cosmos function. And we have nothing, which could be the result of a bunch of things. But it doesn't blow up. It just doesn't show me my stuff. Okay. Let's backtrack and see what did we break. So when I come to this page doesn't need anything else. And the V model is going to do its thing here. We're going to call into fetch. Maybe the data binding thing is not right. I should be setting the binding context, right? Or is it data context? For .NET MAUI. Oh, I happen to be on here. MAUI docs. No, it is the binding context. Set binding method is used in conjunction with binding view to view bindings. Text property of this. Oh, you can also do the reference, which I'm not doing the reference now. No, I think there is something wrong in the Cosmos code, because that simple thing should be working. Let's see, did I do anything right or anything wrong with navigation? No, we are coming to navigation. We are getting to the other page. Thank you for the follow. Okay, I'm going to put a button in there and see if I can make it change. What am I missing? Let's see. All right, so let's put a stack layout in here, and we are going to close the stack layout. All right, and we are going to put a button in there. Is it on-clicked or is it, hold on. Is this, they're just doing a button, text and vertical options. Clicked. Text equals sanity check. Clicked is that. Okay. Now let's copy the button click event handler because it has the sender and the event args, which we don't need. We just need to be able to check if this thing is working because I can't debug very well. All right, button clicked. I don't need that. I don't need any of this. So I can just say this dot my label, no, dot text equals this. I'm explicitly setting it to the view models select thing, right? That should be it, I think, to do a test. Let's see what we broke. I got a warning on an async and await. That's fine. not doing it on the non-blocking API calls. I got it. Let me just see it work. Is my screen looking a little yellowish? I'm seeing like a yellowish tinge on my desktop, which is looking a little weird. I'm just noticing it. But I will improve the brightness and contrast maybe next time. Okay, here we go. We are on issue 1. Tap on that. Oh, there's my button. Sanity check, right? Oh. See, it is getting it back, but it's getting it as an issue, so it's not able to kind of serialize and flatten it. Okay. At least we're getting something, right? Okay. So I think the problem is this, because it just doesn't know what to do with this. Right. So let's do a private string called HTML body. Okay, and we have to match it up to exactly what this is, HTML body. Yeah, and here we got to break this up a little bit because the serialization is getting all confused, I think. Samuel Mars, in order to compile your code on a Mac, does .NET use Xcode internally? Haha, great question. So the answer is yes. Yes, absolutely. So we are writing .NET here, but what's going on is, let me go back here and look at .NET MAUI docs. So I think they have a picture somewhere, maybe. Okay. So here's what we're doing. We are writing stuff up here, right? So when it compiles, it's a multi-targeted project, so it is going to compile for each one that you're requesting it for. When you're doing iOS, it literally is bundling up your C# and compiling it down into IL, and then it goes out and talks to Xcode and compiles it down into ARM binaries, or for Android it does whatever is needed for Android. So it's all pre-compiled and it's native, so it is absolutely using Xcode. For Mac in particular, the Mac OS shim is essentially over iOS, so it's using Mac Catalyst, which is Apple's way of running iPad apps on the Mac desktop. So it essentially is an iOS build, but if you want to do like AppKit type things on desktop, you do have access to AppKit APIs. But yes, everything iOS or Mac does go through the Xcode. So yes, you do need a Mac to build for iOS, but you don't need a physical Mac all the time, because if you are on a Windows machine and if you have an iPad or an iPhone, you can use the free provisioning certificate and you can just plug your phone into Visual Studio, or not into Visual Studio, into your machine, and Visual Studio will identify that, give you a provisioning profile and a certificate, and then you can deploy directly to your phone. But eventually, for you to build an app that you want to put in the stores, you do need Xcode. And there are cloud services that will do the build for you, but it's a native app package that we're building. So yeah, you do need a Mac somewhere. Did my music just die out? Let's switch to a different station maybe. Wait, am I still on? No, my internet is still good, but for some reason the music stopped. I'm using Pretzel Rocks, by the way, and their thing just stopped for some reason, and now it won't load, which is weird. All right, well, it's not stopping us. And yeah, let's see. You folks can still hear me, right? Yeah, should be. Nothing else is off except for the music that is completely hosed. and it won't even load. They have like a web widget, and then they have a desktop app, and it's just spinning. So no music for you. You are stuck with my awkward voice. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's keep on going. Sorry about the sound of silence, but let's see if this would actually work. So get is fine. Now, hold on. I need to look out the syntax. This is how professional I am. I've been doing C# for 20 years. I still need to look up because I have no IntelliSense here. I want to set, well, let me just copy that. For the get and the set, I want it to be explicit, so we are matching up exactly the name of the field to that, which I don't think I should need to, because some of it should be automatic. And without the music, you might actually hear a little bit of my background because they're building another house right next to us, and they're a little loud sometimes. Let's try this one more time. And no, something is really down on their side. Anybody else use Pretzel Rocks? I mean, it's loyalty-free music. You don't have to worry about what you're streaming, but it is a service, and they seem to be offline. That's new. They've never failed working on me before. Okay. So I am setting the HTML body explicitly, and then let's do one more thing here. Instead of, oh, maybe this was the problem. So on the selected issue, let's just be very explicit that HTML body is what I want, which is already a string, so I shouldn't have to do that anymore. How about that? Will this work? I think. Let's try. Yes, I get the error about async. Wait, I will get to it. All right. I am a little sad about no music, but it's just not coming up. All right, no music for us. All right, we got the list, right? Tap. And it's still not binding, which is fine. Sanity check. Oh, there we go. Yay! Where's my... Hold on. Where's my celebration thingies? I can do that. I can do...
Ooh, hello. I love you.
Yeah, I love you doesn't sound good. Yeah. Bubbly? Rainbows? There we go. I got some celebration here. Okay, so I'm able to pull back. Like, look at that, how adolescent and childish this is, that I'm able to pull back one piece of string from the cloud. But hey, it works. So this was MAUI issue 1, and I think for issue 2, if I'm doing this right, oh no, it's hard-coded to ID, so we're not carrying the ID. So it'll still bring back hello world, but let's carry the ID in there. Okay, so it is at least working. The Cosmos service lookup is working. But what I need to do is pass in that as a parameter so I can look it up. So for that to happen, in my fetch issue task, yeah, so this one needs to get a string of ID, right? And I need to pass that on as an ID, and query item async has to get that string as an ID, and it needs to This is a var. So equals, can I not do a plus? No, it's gonna, no, this should be fine. That I need to do this within, no, what am I trying to do? I need to do a single quote, and then I need to do a plus, and then I need to do an ID, and then I need to do another plus, and end the single quote right there. Okay, so now it should reconstruct that same SQL query, but it should get the ID down from my fetch issue. Okay, so now we need to actually send that thing along. So let's go back to our ListView XAML. I already have the item or the item tapped thing wired up, I think. Yep, item tapped is right here, issue picked. So when I tap on an item, yeah, there we go. I actually had this commented out because I was thinking that I will have a class called issue, which I do now. So selected issue is fine, and it should be able to take that issue E, which is the item args of item, and I need to send this. So issue detail view has to accept that. Issue detail view here, it needs to have a constructor which will bring in the selected issue, right? So now I can send that along. Issue ListView XAML. Now it's not exactly an issue that we are sending though. Yeah, this is not, I'm really sending the ID of the issue because I don't actually have the issue on hand. I haven't done the lookup yet. So it should be an int of selected issue ID. Fullschnabel! Hey, good day on that. Good to see you, Fullschnabel. You can laugh at me for the ridiculous code that I'm writing here, but hey, good to see you. Good to see you. And I do apologize for whoever is joining me now that we have complete silence behind me and you have my awkward voice as the only company because my background streaming music service has stopped working. I'm using Pretzel Rocks, which is just spinning and not playing anything, any station. So I do apologize for the lack of entertainment thereof. But again, if you're just joining me, then I am building an app for this, which is my Sands of MAUI newsletters for .NET MAUI news, and I'm trying to pull back a list of issues and then get into the detail of each issue. I don't remember if the yellowish color is intentional or not. Fullschnabel, no, it is not. And every time it's something new on me. So I had fixed it the last time around, but then I did an update because macOS Monterey was finally authorized. This is a work laptop, so they did push it out, and then I have the yellowish tinge come back because whatever the fix was with my brightness and contrast that I had fixed for Mac now got undone with macOS Monterey, and I didn't realize that until I had started streaming. So yeah. Ooh, wall players, are you good with Java? I've been stuck on a coding bat problem. No, I'm not good with Java. I used to do Java years and years back, and I don't anymore. But I do C#, and it's similar, right? It's all object-oriented. Okay, so let's go on. So item, and no, hold on. This item is actually an issue list. Oh no, the issue list doesn't even have an ID. Okay, and I'm hoping we can actually get the ID right. And again, I'm hoping that this is smart enough to do this serialization, deserialization based on just the name of the field, not having a private field, but something that matches what the cloud is sending back. So we're going to get that ID or item, which is not actually an issue because it is actually an issue list. It's an issue list that has, which is kind of a weird name because the issue list is made up of issues, right? But when I'm binding this, it's actually an issue list here. So it has to be an issue list. Selected issue is, so I have to fix my naming, but you get the point. But here we're going to do a selected issue dot, oh, there's the ID now because I added that, right? So we're going to send that over, and that's an integer, right? Which is what we need here, because let's go into our detailed view. I don't need that. That's actually not an issue. I just want an integer called selected issue ID. So when that comes in, maybe we should expose that out. So let's do a private int called chosen, just to kind of differentiate, chosen issue ID. And once we initialize, I just do want to write it out. Chosen issue ID equals selected issue ID, and we're going to do the find, the fetch and bind needs to take in the int. No, it needs to actually take in this thing that I got from the other page, right? And this needs to take in an int, and it needs to pass this down to the fetch data on the view model, which needs to turn around and pass it down to the Cosmos service. Let's see, issue view model, fetch data needs to have an int called that, and it needs to send this selected issue ID down to the fetch issue. And now we should have it all the way down, I think, because Cosmos service, we added the fetch issue having the ID and sending it down to the query item async. Okay, we did a whole bunch of things, and I'm not sure what I broke in the chain. So we're going to play it slowly. We'll keep this for a second, and let's just see if the ID got serialized correctly when we came from the first page. We wrote the, yeah, we can just do dot. Can I not do, oh, that's an integer, right? Can I do this string? Because this integer gets written in when I come to my page, yeah, and I just want to print that before I make the call out to Azure. Okay, let's try. Oh, I am getting close to like noon my time. Full Schnabel X toString, yeah, but I mean that's just an integer, so I think this will also work. I don't know. I can't debug. I can't. The compiler doesn't work very well with MAUI here, so I'm just hoping it compiles and then I can test. Oh, all types of errors. Okay. You don't need to yell at me like with red. That's what I was trying to do, but you didn't give me the option here, toString. Okay, how about that now? All right. What? what did I do now? Issue view model .cs. Oh, this is on the view model. Something I did on the view model is not right. Issue view model is taking in an int. Wait, what? In Windows you can debug. Just said yes. In Windows you can debug, absolutely. Because Windows you have VS 2022. We don't have it anything on Mac because VS for Mac is getting redone and there is no .NET MAUI support. All right, I did something wrong. Hold on for a second. So let's recap. So when you tap on an issue, I am reading the item and I'm sending along this ID, which is a string. Oh, while that's expecting an integer. Okay. Got it. So let's go into the detail view and we'll call it a string. Everyone debugs with console log these days. Exactly. It's just except I don't have a console. But yeah, console log everything. All right, we'll just make it a string all the way through. We'll fix it because this is for trial anyways. I just want to see it come through. So now the string comes in. We're going to set the chosen ID, and but now this fetch and bind is going to yell at me. So we have to make this a string as well, and we have to go to our Cosmos service and where's my fetch? Well, this one already had a string. Okay, so issue view model can take a string as well. All right, is that good now? Or write to a log file? Yes, yeah, I could do that. What did I do now? Issue detail view XAML. What? Oh, there's one unsaved. I never saved this. Damn it. Okay, so fetch and bind takes an issue. Button clicked will. Well, now I don't need this anymore because it is a string. So the text should be applicable there. All right. How about is everything saved? Yes. If I can just make that, Azure call, we'll stop there. The type of the names for issue lists. What? What do you mean issue list cannot be found? On which issue list view? Capital I? Oh, where? Capital I, where? It should be able to, when I tap on that one item, it should be able to cast it into an issue list. An issue list is in the namespace. So why are you complaining? I'm in the same namespace. In the list, full schnabel, in the list. Hold on a second. It said so in the errors. Hold on, errors. Issue list could not be found. And it's complaining about that in my issue list view XAML.cs that it cannot find an. Oh, I see. Yeah, right. You're right. Damn it. I am so bad. This. See, this is what happens when I have nothing to go off. All right. Another build. Better. It's not complaining. It's giving me a warning. But thank you. You folks are so good. You give me a line number. Like, how much more dumb can you get? Here's a line number, and that's the exact character for you to fix. Thank you, people. Okay. Goes out to the cloud, does the first call. Okay, now tap. And still doesn't do data binding. It's fine. Sanity check. 1. Good. So I did carry the ID, which is good. On the second one, 2. Yes. Okay. Good. We are in business. Now, let's see if my call actually worked to Azure. So we're going to come into the second page, which is the detail view. And that has the label. And that has the on button clicked. Well, I don't think we need to do the binding right here because it's not working anyways. So let's go into the detail view, right? So we have the ID, and we are going into our fetch and bind, sending that ID, sending it down to our view model, and this string of test, that's just a test anyways. So it should, at this fetch data, it should make that Azure call to go look up that other thing. And now, instead of this, I can open up this. So I want the label to show the HTML body of the selected issue. Let's see if this works. And let's go check, because I forget what I had. This is my list of issues. So item 1 should have hello world, and item 2, oh, it has hello world again. I don't know if you can see it, it's too small. Yeah, so we are looking for hello world and hello world again. So that way we will know that we are getting the right HTML body out of the cloud service. And if it works, I'm gonna maybe that'll be a, one small step for the day, and then I can go have lunch. All right, let's see. Geez, this silence is deafening. I have no music, because I normally hear what you are hearing, because I'm wired onto the same. I have two machines here, by the way. So my Mac is my dev machine, and then I have my little Windows streaming box where that's the one that plays the music. So I'm hearing what you are hearing, which I don't hear anything now. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed. Do that. Button check. Hello world, yay! And for issue 2, we should see hello world again. Hello world again, yay! I'm back to celebrating my little win of getting a text box back. All right, thank you chat room, because it's coming together. So here's what I need to do next. So at least I'm carrying the ID, which is nice. What I need to do now is in this second view, I need to stick in a Blazor web view, because it is pure HTML content coming back, and I obviously need to update that in the Cosmos DB document. So essentially, instead of this one line of hello world again, I want to stick in the entire HTML for that issue and hand it off to the Blazor web view and see what it can do with it. And kind of also data bind it so it can automatically pick up the HTML body property of my thing. So progress, right? A little bit of progress every week, every day. Last week, I could not even get this ListView to render right because of I was doing await and async wrong, and it just didn't data bind. But today, at least, it is working. And I can carry the ID back and forth, which is nice. But I have to work on a whole bunch of other things. I want to have like a gesture so you can swipe right, not swipe left, like you do in, I don't know, I've never used Tinder, maybe. I don't know which way you swipe, but you can swipe right and you can favorite some of the issues. And then you can see a list where I can actually change the template to have a little bit more information, like maybe an image. And then you can see the whole list of all the issues and their details. Okay. Bull Schnabel, Simon Mars, and who else? Binary Chef and everybody else in the chat room. Thank you for, and Brocco Dev, thanks for hanging out with me. Binary Chef, yes, later. And yeah, love you all. Take care, and I will see you on the next stream. All right. Bye-bye.